In this video, we're going to talk about mental health. Hope you enjoy it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. Today's video is going to be a little different. Typically, I would probably do this as a vlog and do a walk and talk, but it's been so rainy and so gross outside that we're just going to sit here and have a chit chat. And I want to talk about mental health. Particularly, I want to talk about my mental health and the struggles that I've been through and where I am today. So I hope you get some value out of this. I hope it helps you if you struggle with some of these things that I do, to know that you're not alone. So if this video did help you, please go ahead and hit the like button. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, make sure you go ahead and do so and click the bell icon so you'll get noticed when I post new videos. So I've debated for a little while about how to make this video and what I want to say and, you know, all of that kind of thing. So I basically just think I'll tell you my story. So if you've watched my Why I Left the US video, when I graduated high school when I was 18, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, like probably most people. You know, I went to college in the States. You know, we have community colleges, junior college, which are 2-year programs, and you can take your basics there. I went to a junior college for a year and did some of my basics. I did okay, didn't do great. And then I decided to go off to college, and all of my buddies went to Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. So I joined them out there, thinking it'd be awesome to hang out with friends and stuff, and it was awesome. It was great. The first semester went fine. Second semester, third semester, fourth semester, I decided that I didn't have to go to class apparently, and I spent way too much time drinking and partying and doing everything but going to class. And so with a like 1.3 GPA, Texas Tech decided that I might not be right for their program. So that happened. I left, got a job, I did some work, and then after doing this for a few years, trying off and on to go back to school, but never really having my heart into it. So at 22, I joined the Air Force. My job was to work on aircraft. Specifically, I was an aircraft electrical and environmental systems specialist. So I worked on the components that give the airplane electricity and air pressure and climate control, that kind of thing. I was never really good at it because, you know, that's just really not where my aptitude was, and it was extremely stressful. I think that's where my, you know, mental health issues started, really. I started really having anxiety really bad and being scared, terrified that I'm going to make a mistake, and I made mistakes, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know, when you're terrified of making mistakes, you end up making more mistakes, and then you get more terrified, and then so on and so on and so on. So that was pretty much 6 years of anxiety right there. For 4 of those years I was stationed here, and I loved living here. I loved getting to travel. I loved all of that. But my job basically sapped the soul from my body. It was terrible. But one thing it did do, lit a fire under me to finish my degree. So I did finish my degree in history from the University of Maryland. At the time it was the University of Maryland University College. Now it's the University of Maryland Global Campus. And I ended up, you know, with like a 3.3 GPA in my major. Trying to overcome that 1.3 GPA was pretty tough. I ended up with something around a 2.45 GPA for my cumulative score. And I decided, well, I'm going to try to go to law school. So I decided to go to law school, and I took the LSAT, the law school aptitude test, and I did really well on it. I scored like I want to say I scored a 169, 170, something like that. 168 maybe. I think I scored a 168 on it. I don't really remember. It's been 16 years since I took the thing. I had this really pretty good LSAT score and this not so great GPA, but I still managed to get into a decent, pretty good law school, and I did that. And law school for me was, I mean, I would be lying if I said it wasn't stressful. It was. But I didn't really have the anxiety I had when I was in the Air Force. Now, in there, I got divorced, and that stress of, the divorce itself wasn't stressful. That was a stress relief, just having that over with. But the period leading up to it was pretty turbulent, and that caused a lot of, issues with stress and with anxiety and depression, that kind of thing. So after I graduated law school, I decided I wanted to move to Las Vegas. I wanted to move out west, and basically Las Vegas was the farthest place west I could afford to live. So I moved out there, loved living out there, studied for the bar, studied really hard for the bar every day, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, and I failed the bar. So that sent me into a spiral of depression. I never, like when I put that much effort into something, I've never failed like that before. And so that was really hard on me. So I suffered for a few months some crippling depression and anxiety. Like, I don't know what to do now. So I ended up moving back to Dallas, studied for the bar, and took the bar in Dallas. So after I finished taking the bar, I got offered a job at a law firm as a law clerk. I hadn't passed the bar yet, so I couldn't be a lawyer. And so they offered me this job. It was a salary job, and I made not a lot of money. But I was working attorney hours, and the boss kept piling more and more work on me. So I was basically doing, even once I passed the bar, I didn't get a raise or anything. I still had the same job title, but I was doing more and more work as an attorney, but still getting paid like I was a clerk. And had bills to pay, and everything was piling up. And that was when I experienced my first panic attack, and they started coming pretty regularly after that. I've mentioned before how the law profession was not good for my mental health, and that's basically where it started. Basically, it continued like that. I eventually quit that job and ended up working for myself for a while, got another job. Anyway, that part of the story is kind of irrelevant. I just kind of wanted to give you some background as to where, my issues with mental health started. I think everyone, when they're 20, 22, 23, 24, I think everyone at that age kind of expects something big from their lives. Like, you're going to do something great, you're going to be big, you're going to be rich, you're going to do this, that. I think kind of everybody has that in their brains when they're that age. I think you go through stages. You start off in that stage where you're going to conquer the world. You're going to do such important things. And then there comes a point when, you haven't done that. You haven't done that big thing that you thought you were going to do. And you kind of start to feel like, am I a failure? And, I suffered that because I went to law school, and I expected that since I went to law school, I was going to make a lot of money, I was going to be successful and all that. And, over the 12 years that I worked as a lawyer, I never really reached that level. I made enough money to pay bills, and, I did okay. I probably could have made what I made in my best year as a high school history teacher. So I was not one of those attorneys that made a lot of money. That led me to feeling like a failure, which led me to have more anxiety about succeeding, and which led me to have more panic attacks. So it's all a vicious cycle. Mental health is a vicious cycle. Honestly, it probably took me until just about when COVID started for me to really fully grasp that money is not an indication of success, and money is not an indication of happiness. And, it took me a long time to realize that my happiness shouldn't be tied up in what I do for a living. It should be the sum total of my experiences on this earth. Like, you only have a certain amount of time here. How do you want to use that time, right? And so, probably at the very beginning of COVID, I made this decision that I'm going to change my life. I'm going I'm going to start to try to live life on my terms. And I'm going to try to do what I need to do to feel fulfilled and to be happy. And whether or not that comes with monetary success is inconsequential. I'm not idealistic. We all need a certain level of money to survive. That is not my driving force in life anymore. And that is part of what led me to moving here to Germany, was to try to live my life on my terms and in a way that makes me happy. That may sound selfish, but your life is your life. No one else is responsible for your happiness except for you. So, and I can tell you that before I moved here, even after COVID started and I made this decision that felt like a weight off my shoulders, I still had a lot of stress. This whole pandemic has not exactly been stress-free. This has been a pretty stressful time, pretty turbulent time for most of us. But I will say that it has provided me the opportunities that I'm taking now. And so while, yes, it's been a negative situation, it's been a terrible situation, and I feel terrible about the situation, I've tried to use it in a way to better my life and to better my time on this earth. Before I moved here, my stress level was probably about an 8 out of 10 on most days. It'd fluctuate between a 7 and a 9, right? And I worry about things. I worry about politics. I worry about COVID. I worry about my family. I worry about how I'm going to survive, all of these things. And so my anxiety was always pretty high. I started taking medication probably about 1.5 years ago for my anxiety mainly and for the depression that comes along with it. And it's really helped level me out. I still would have some panic attacks, but not nearly at the rate I was having before. And the panic level probably dropped from a 9 to a 6, 7. With COVID, obviously my anxiety level went up. So I was living at about an 8, typically. When I moved here, I just felt like not all of the stress, but so much of the stress that I was feeling evaporated. So I think I live right now probably on on a level of 4 with my anxiety. So it's still there, it's always with me, but it's far more manageable now. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that I've taken control and I'm not doing what society expects of me or my parents expect of me or what I think people expect of me. I'm trying to live my life on my terms. And that control that I feel like I've taken has gotten rid of a lot of that anxiety. I haven't had a panic attack since I've moved here in September. So that's a bonus, plus, that's great. I had my first experience with a German doctor yesterday. I needed to get my American prescription for my medicine converted to a German prescription. So I went and talked to the doctor and that was a really, really great experience. But I guess my point of making this video is, it took me basically until the age of 45 to really figure out that, I control my own happiness. I control I control how I feel in this world. You have to do what makes you happy. That may be simplistic, but really you're in control of your happiness. I hope this kind of helps you get to know me a little bit more. And if you have any questions, or if you want to talk about any of this, send me a message through Instagram or Facebook. My contact information is in the description box. Just know that you're not alone in this, okay? Everyone is fighting a battle that no one else can see. We're all here on this earth trying to do our best to get through it. So I hope this has helped you. If it did, please go ahead and click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please make sure you go ahead and do so and click the bell icon so you'll get notice when I post new videos. Guys, until next time, I will see you later.